Today on Ask the First Selectman, we're talking about the train stations, in this case, the Darien train station. John, what's the status of the rebuild of the Darien train station, and how did those new electric heated platforms work during the most recent storms?
So current status on the train station. So the platform is divided into kind of four parts. There's the New Haven bound side, and then there's the New York bound side. And then but for both those sides, there's an east set of platforms closer to Norwalk, and then there's the west set of platforms. So where we are on Darien is that they've finished all the work on the east platform. So that's the platforms, the uh, station itself, to the extent that they had to rebuild any of the sections that were underneath the platforms, the elevators, the railings, all of that's been done and completed on the east side of the train station. There are electrically heated platforms, as I've said in previous reports, and we have power, I believe, on the New York side, but the New Haven side was still working on getting the power agreement with the power company to have that completely finished. Jim, you may even have better news on that than I do, but they were close to getting that done so that the platforms on both the New Haven side and the New York side would be heated, and we get to our goal of not requiring salt on those platforms. The work that's still to be done is the west platforms. They either have or will very shortly start demolishing those platforms, and that process is going to be much easier because there's not a canopy there, and that's kind of an open area for them to do work. So they have told me many times that that reconstruction is going to take a lot less time than it did for the east platforms. My guess is that they're going to be finished with all of this sometime September is my current guess, is that they'll finish all the work, and that'll include not just the platforms, but the landscaping and tidying up of all that area, and it should look pretty good at that point. So my sense is that we should be finished with that work by the fall.
Just a quick follow-up.
Sure.
If people have a concern or a question about one of the train stations, whether it's the parking or the platforms or lights and things like that, who do they call? Who's responsible for the train stations themselves?
A great question. Your first call should be to the Department of Public Works, because what they'll be able to do is either send someone out to, say, address a problem. So, for example, in Roden Heights, obviously, right now, if there is cold or icy weather, it's the DPW team that is responsible for putting down salt. So, if there's a maintenance problem or an unsafe condition, call the Department of Public Works right away, or do the see, click, fix it button that's on the town website. That's a great way to report those problems. What the DPW will do is then decide whether they can address it themselves or they need to call Metro North to get them out to help. But DPW, just to simplify things, that should be your first point of call.
If you have a question about much of anything going on in town and our first selectman is involved, just send it along to us and we'll ask it on a future edition of Ask the First Selectman. Our email is dariantv@darianct.gov.